It's been a month, nearly a month, but for the first time since August 24th at the Chicagoland Speedway, the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series returns here for their first road course race of the season. Pretty late in the year to do this, but we are at the Sonoma Raceway here for the running of the Toyota Save-Mart 350, our, I would say, 18th race of the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series. After today, there will be 5 races to go on the season. Pretty much from here on to November 9th, it is going to be somewhat of a stretch. We're probably going to have at least 3 weeks on, maybe a few weeks off, and then the final 3 races will be consecutive weekends. But in order to get to that point, we got to get past these races here, starting with the Sonoma Raceway. Our first road course race of the season, as I mentioned. So this is going to be a pretty tall task here for all 42 of these competitors, is that we haven't been on a road course at all in the McDonald's Cup Series. So this is kind of the first time in McDonald's Cup Series history that we're on a road course, and definitely going to be pretty fun to watch here as we tackle Sonoma Raceway, wine country, for 50 laps of action. No cautions, by the way. So this race pretty much is going to see a caution-free race. There are going to be incidents, so that is something to watch out for. We will review those incidents after the race concludes. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look at your point standings leaving Chicagoland back on the 24th of August. As you can see, John Andrews retains his points lead by 20 over Edson Hernandez. Tyler Belladonna third with 380 points to his name. Will Parrish still looking for his first win of his McDonald's Cup Series career and of the season. He currently has 358 points in the bank. 5 points back from him is Chad Gronkowski, who ended up winning in two amazing fashions, of course. Well, in the same fashion, twice, edging out two drivers for race wins at Talladega and Michigan, with 353 points to his name. 4 points back is Alex Savatali, who just might have the best shot of taking the points lead away, maybe moving up to second. And you'll see why here in just a little bit once we review the starting lineup. Skylar Taylor, 3 points back from Savatali with 346 points in the bank. Michael Young is 8th with 339. Rogel Dorn, our Kansas winner, with 333. And Stephen Colon returns to the top 10, 1 point back from Dorn in the 10th position. Here's a look at the rest of your points standings heading into today's race here at the Sonoma Raceway. And you see Bryce Egan, who won at Chicagoland last month. As mentioned, he was 32nd in the point standings, if I do remember correctly. Look where he is now. He jumped from 32nd all the way to 20th, all because of that win. A lot of it just has to do with there were some competitors in that event that got wiped out in some big championship implicating crashes. Not just that, but also other innocent bystanders to that as well. That also kind of enabled and allowed Bryce Egan to make that huge jump in the points. And it's just been one of those types of it's just been that point of the season where we are getting late, getting into the later stages of the year. So of course, a lot more is going to be on the line, and a lot of these other drivers are going to start pushing hard to try to get the best possible finishing position of the points before the season is out. So I would expect a little bit more of that here at Sonoma, and especially it's definitely going to, a lot of these drivers are also going to take even bigger hits since this race will be caution free. So if there is an incident that, let's say, I don't know, say if Alex Savatali gets involved in an incident, the race does not slow down. So he will basically be out of contention if he either is able to continue the race with basically moderate damage that would affect the speed of his car, or gets completely taken out of the race. So definitely a lot of things to watch out for here at the Sonoma Raceway. This is definitely going to be a very interesting one. So glad that you guys could be here with us. here in wine country. It is definitely going to be a very fun, a very exciting weekend here at the Sonoma Raceway for race 18 of the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series. After today, 5 races left, and this is going to be one hell of a sprint to the finish of the 2024 season. Drivers are strapped into the cars. Pre-race ceremonies are just now starting to wrap up, but in order to get these 42 behemoths rolling on the track, we got to get the command to fire the engines.
Runners, start your engines!
There it is. Engines fired. Pace car is rolling off. And so are these 42 competitors. And as they are rolling around the track to get ready to take the green flag, let's go ahead, take a look at your starting grid here for this event. As you can see, a pair of Chevrolets are on the pole. It is Nathan Stapleton who won the pole position, and alongside him is the 41 of Nia Steidel. Will Parrish, Jeremiah Simpson, both of those drivers make up row number 2. Then in the third row, we have Colin Block and Travis Crampton. Row 4 sees a duo of the Swan Energy racing cars of Avon Murray and Alex Salvatali. And completing your top 10 in row number 5, Terry Walker starting 9th and Sebastian Palmer in the 10th position. Our Coca-Cola 600 winner and Nashville winner respectively. Then take a look at the rest of your starting lineup. We have Kyler Sustry, Fitzwater, Cars, Dale Johnson II, Edson Hernandez, Matthew Hubert, Michael DeFeo, John Felber, Rogel Dorn, Roberto Crown Jr., Daniel Adams, Bryce Egan, Casey Wells, Skylar Taylor, BB Hange, Mitchell O'Brien, Tatiana Noguera, Damian Kyle Wood, and then from 29th all the way down to 42nd, we have Alex Rampus, PJ Vidal, Chad Gronkowski, Bob Floyd, Ryan Durrani, Tyler Belladonna, Wyatt Walker, Val Moscow, Josh Lee, Michael Young, Derek Hamill, Stephen Colon, points leader John Andrews starting in the provisional row, and then Matt Jones starting in the 42nd position. So you see there a lot of drivers that are in the top 10 of the point standings. They are starting very deep in the field. So Alex Salvatali, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, may possibly have the best spot, maybe in the best seat in the house to take the points lead, or maybe second away, leaving here today if things kind of go the way that they are. Well, if the things go the way that Salvatali hopes they go, and that is consistently either stay in the top 10 or possibly win this race off of strategy. So it's definitely going to be a very interesting day here at the Sonoma Raceway. They round their way through turn number 10, heading into the infamous turn number 11, where something could possibly give. Something could give in this corner right here. This is where all the opportunity can be taken. Pace car drives into pit road. They work their way through turn number 11. Don't worry about this. This is exactly what they do here in NR 2003. But they'll get it resorted back out. And this will put the field in the hands of Nathan Stapleton and Nia Steidel to lead the field down to get race number 18 of the McDonald's Cup Series underway. Down the front straightaway. And there's the green flag. We're racing in Sonoma. Stapleton with the jump. Heading up the hill through turns 1 and 2. Now up into turn 3. Back down the hill. Will Parrish, Nia Steidel fighting it out for the second position. Steidel with the preferred line, but it is Parrish who gets the position on Steidel. She'll fall back into third. Cullen Block files into the 4th position. And then you get back over here. Jeremiah Simpson will take the 5th spot. And there's The 48, Terry Walker, he wound up starting 9th in this race, already has moved up into the 6th position, but still contested by Avon Murray in the 30 machine. 3 wide through the S's. That's a little bit dangerous there. See a lot of drivers go way off course. Speaking of, Travis Crampton off course and Alex Savatali. Already right off the bat, troubles for one of our championship contenders and Alex Savatali. Oh, that is such a shame. Such a shame that it has to happen right off the bat. Unfortunately, that unless if he has some form of pit strategy, Savatali may definitely be out of this, probably is going to be out of contention for the win. He's already on pit road. Going to try to get the damage assessed on this number 26 speed stick gear machine. But he is definitely going to be out of the running for the race win here today at the Sonoma race. That is just so unfortunate that it had to happen on lap 1 of all times. Lap 1. Travis Crampton, another innocent bystander there in that mix. He's able to continue on, but with a lot of rear end damage to his race machine. But as I mentioned, it is caution free, so this race will not slow down. We stay green. Stapleton continuing to lead. He's got a little over a 3/4 of a second advantage on the 2 of Will Parrish. Nia Steidel right now in 3rd, Block 4th, and then Jeremiah Simpson completes the top 5. Let's take a look further back in the field. It looks like pretty much everybody has calmed into a single file formation. Travis Crampton apparently still on the track. Has yet to make his way onto pit road, and there he goes. He's going to peel off and come on into the pits. Not just a tough break for Savatali, but also for Travis Crampton. There were some, of course, when I saw the puff of smoke that got kicked up, I had to have imagined that there was already somebody that went off the track, and of course it was Crampton and also Alex Savatali. Remember, as I mentioned, Savatali came into this race, I believe, in the 6th position in the point standings. Actually, let me, as I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at this, and it's really unfortunate that it had to, again, that this had to happen on the first lap of action, especially coming through the S's, because going through the S's can be a very, very dangerous spot for that type of racing. So it is definitely something that these drivers would have to be very careful of when it comes to making a passing maneuver through the S's. And I can confirm 6th position in the point standings with 349 points to his name. So that's definitely got to sting. Looks like we might have already had a few more incidents that came off. That was just up the hill through 1 and 3. Through, I think, turn 3, I want to say. Wyatt Walker in the 99 has got some damage. Tyler Belladonna. Also, Sammy Cars, Terry Walker, and Alex Savatali, even more damage. This definitely is going to take him out. This is going to take him out of the race, and he is going to take a huge hit in the point standings. A day that could have been absolutely good for Alex Savatali to possibly either take the points lead or move up inside of the top 5 in the point standings. Either way, he'd be moving up inside of the top 5. It's just gone from bad to worse, and Savatali this time, I think he is going to get knocked out of this race. That is super unfortunate. Tyler Belladonna, another driver who is one of the championship contenders, a potential championship contender come Homestead. He's trying to look for win number 3 on the season. Unfortunately, it just is not going to come today. Currently sitting 40th on the tail end of the lead lap, along with Travis Crampton, who is on the verge of going 1 lap down to the 42 of Nathan Stapleton. Remember, Stapleton and Crampton in real life, they're both actually buddies. And you have to wonder, if you're somebody like Travis Crampton, especially if you really do want to stay in the lead lap, do you actually let Stapleton put you a lap down? And if you're in Stapleton's position, do you just let Travis Crampton go? In all fairness, Crampton could possibly be on fresher tires than Nathan Stapleton. Probably had a 4-tire change when he came down pit road, so that could have potentially happened. Matt Jones in the 78 already making his way down on pit road, probably to get that right side damage assessed. 5 laps complete, and we already have a lot of drama that just unraveled in front of us within the span of possibly 2, even 3 laps, involving a few of our championship fighters. And Alex Savatali, even Tyler Belladonna. Remember, Belladonna came into this race 3rd in the point standings. 3rd. This will definitely hurt his chances of keeping his third place spot in the point standings secure, leaving today Sonoma when we go to Watkins Glen next week. That definitely is going to hurt. Here we go. Stapleton is going to try to see if he can put the 22 of Travis Crampton the lap down. But he's got to be careful because, remember, Crampton has his teammate Will Parrish sitting in the 2nd position. And wow, Stapleton goes really wide through that corner right there. I was about to say, Crampton has his teammate Will Parrish, who's currently running in the 2nd position. I was going to say, Parrish could have been a really good teammate and absolutely block the 42 of Stapleton for long enough to try to take the race lead. Remember, these points are absolutely very crucial. That bonus point can also be pretty crucial as well, but the other thing that somebody like Stapleton wants to deal with, he wants to sweep all the points. He wants to have that 1 bonus point. He's already got that secured. He wants those 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. So basically, in order to get to that point, you obviously have to lead more than half the race. And Travis Crampton gets sent off the nose of Nia Steidel, right back up on the course, and just barely escapes without any other added incident. Great heads-up driving by everybody in that ordeal. Great job by Jeremiah Simpson to just get on the brakes and not run into the back of the 22 of Crampton. We, again, stay green. Regardless of what happens, we do stay green. That could have been way, way worse. Crampton gonna come on back down pit road. This is gonna put him back to being well, this is gonna possibly add another lap to Crampton. He might go 2 laps down here if he depending on how long he stays on pit road for. But nonetheless, yes, Alex Savatali, I can confirm the first retiree of this race. He is definitely going to get taken out of where he is in the points. He's definitely going to take a huge, huge hit in the point standings, leaving here today. So that's definitely not something that Savatali wanted at all. Neither, same for Tyler Belladonna. Remember, Belladonna right now is on the tail end of the lead lap. Right now sitting in the 39th position. So this is definitely not something that he wanted whatsoever. And there's our points leader, by the way, checking in with him. That's John Andrews, who won at Bristol and also Indianapolis a little bit ago in the season. Right now, he currently is running in the 33rd position. So who could potentially be the best who could be the driver in the best seat in the house to take the points lead away? Well, I would definitely have to say Edson Hernandez, of course. Hernandez right now is running 11th on track. He's also 2nd in the points standings. Our winner from Darlington, depending on if he's able to stay around this portion of the pack, or at least right in the spot that he's at, he could wound up taking the points lead away when we go to Watkins Glen next Saturday. So definitely a lot here, a lot to unpack here for this weekend. As far as our championship drivers are concerned, this is just definitely going to, it's just, I don't even know what even to say. That's just absolutely unbelievable of what we just witnessed. Just basically unravel in front of us here within the first fifth of this event. And we haven't even gotten to pit stops yet. So, of course, Nathan Stapleton in the number 42 machine, continuing to show the way here at the Sonoma Raceway, still trying to look for his first McDonald's Cup Series win. He's been a part of this since, I want to say, season return all the way back in 2015. That was when we were running at least 4 to 5 races within a 26 race schedule, and then getting completely burnt out, and then trying to start a brand new season. And that cycle was a whole rinse and repeat type of cycle. But now this is the furthest that we've ever gone in the McDonald's Cup Series, so he's still trying to search for his first McDonald's Cup Series win. And if he already has one, he's trying to look for his first one in a very long time. I know for sure he has a few WRLA Pepsi Cup Series wins under his resume. Of course, he wound up winning at Martinsville back in 2017 in its inaugural season, the WRLA's inaugural season. He also has had one of his drivers, Noah Clifton, end up winning for the team last year, actually, on the dirt at Bristol. So there's definitely a lot of accolades that Nathan Stapleton has, not just as a driver, but also as an owner as well. And he is definitely going to add on to that when the WRLA returns here next year. So I'm definitely very excited to see what NS Racing and also Nathan Stapleton, as well as the rest of the NS Racing camp, Andrew Miller, he's coming back next year, along with Noah Clifton, he's returning to the 99, and as well as Zachary Fitzwater, currently running 8th in this race, by the way. He's returning, driving the number 98 Pertec machine. So really excited to see what 2025 brings here for Nathan Stapleton and NS Racing. Well, the driver who will be coming back to the WRLA next year, of course, will be Nia Steidel for Elijah Gordon Incorporated. Instead of driving a number 87 machine, she'll be switching over to the number 6 Twitch-sponsored machine. Definitely very excited for that as well. Not only still trying to search for her first McDonald's Cup win, but also still trying to search for her first WRLA win on top of that as well. So I'm another driver that I'm also really excited to see next year. Speaking of Zachary Fitzwater, there he is, running in the 8th position currently, trying to fend off a potential challenge from Sebastian Palmer, who ended up winning the Coca-Cola 600 earlier in the season back in May, a Memorial Day weekend. There's also Dale Johnson II in the number 27, who, if my memory serves me right, he wound up leading the most laps at Talladega earlier this year. Unfortunately, was not able to close out the deal with a win. But here we are today. If pit strategy goes his way, he could wound up getting his first McDonald's Cup Series win. And as you saw in the background, pit stops may be underway here. First car that I just saw make an exit on the pits is the number 10 of Bob Floyd. So Floyd coming out of pit road. So that could be a sign that green flag pit stops are going to get underway here very, very shortly. Maybe give it about 2 or 3 laps time. maybe a little bit earlier if possible. Top two start to check out from Nia Steidl. About a 1.3 second difference between second and third place between Parrish and Steidl. Almost 3/4 of a second between Parrish and Nathan Stapleton. Still continuing to show the way here in this number 42. Even Murray still running in that third position. Murray has had himself kind of one of those types of seasons where it hasn't gone the way that he would have wanted to. But right now, he's definitely taking in as much time up at the front of the field as possible. Same goes for the 11 of Kyler Sustry. Sustry has been another one of those drivers who's been really quiet this year. Hasn't really made a ton of noise. Hasn't really been in contention for any wins at all. He's kind of just been chilling out right around mid-pack or so. But here he is, running 7th currently on the racetrack. And right now doing a very nice job of holding on to a top 10 position currently. Hernandez may potentially get a challenge here from the 23 of Matthew Hubert. Hubert's been another one of those drivers who, again, he's been pretty quiet. He's had some good runs here and there. He could have wound up getting his first McDonald's Cup Series win. I can't even remember where he possibly would have had it at. I'm thinking it might have been Darlington would have been one of those tracks where he could have gotten his first McDonald's Cup win if all the cards were in his favor. Ran pretty decent. He ran pretty well, actually. Unfortunately, he's just it hasn't really, things just really haven't gone his way. But here he is, running 12th right now, doing a very nice job here in this number 23 machine. So right now, let's go ahead and try to see if we can follow along with the leader and see if pit stops are going to be well underway. As you see there's the 78 of Matt Jones. Jones, I think, was one of those drivers that I think might have made a pit stop. Either that, I think, yeah, he definitely made a pit stop. Had to have. So that's why he's up here with these other contenders. Let's take a little bit further back here. They were pretty jumbled up there in turn number 11. That's John Felber in the 16. Also Daniel Adams in the 55. Felber's going to retain that 15th position. And also the 55, Daniel Adams. Adams, I thought, was going to be one of those drivers who was going to have himself a really good year. I kind of felt it in my bones that he was going to have a really good year. And unfortunately, it just hasn't really panned out the way that he would have wanted to at all. He's one of those drivers that kind of has that Dylan Kwasniewski effect, where you look at a guy, you look at a kid, and you look at a driver that you look at, you say, man, he probably could potentially be the next big thing. Unfortunately, just doesn't really pan out that way. And that's exactly what happened here for Daniel Adams all throughout this year. He's had good starting positions, he's had good runs, but unfortunately there has been something to elude him from a good finish, let alone winning a race. That has happened to him time and time and time again. And I'm very sure Daniel Adams wants to change that here today. Pit stops are indeed well underway. Nathan Stapleton is going to bring a good chunk of the field down to pit road. Will Parrish, Nia Steidl, the rest of the crowd, they're all on pit road right now. And remember, these drivers have to go 35 miles an hour down this pit road. Let's see just exactly how this pit stop is going to unravel in front of us. It's going to be a 4-tire change for at least these 5 cars that are currently in the shot. Let's see who manages to get out of pit road first. Parrish runs into the back of Nia Steidl, but he still gets out of the pits first. Colin Block is going to come out second. Steidl third. Stapleton making some contact with Jeremiah Simpson. he's going to lose the race lead and drop down to 5th. What in the world? So Stapleton didn't fire off the pits right away, but Will Parrish, once green flag pit stops complete, he's going to have the race lead in his hands. Colin Block would then move up to 2nd. Steidl would retain 3rd. Simpson would move up to 4th. Zachary Fitzwater makes the pass on Nathan Stapleton for 5th. My goodness gracious, Stapleton looked to me like he was going to have himself a really good pit stop. It was looking fine, but something had to have gone awry, possibly with trying to get the jack, like say imaginary jack, out from underneath the car. And I say imaginary because obviously with AI pit crews, they are invisible, practically non-existent. Man, that's just unfortunate. Dale Johnson II gets by Nathan Stapleton. That's for 6th. And in the meantime, actually wait just a minute. John Felber currently has the race lead, and he has an 8-second cushion on everybody else. And he's going to surrender the lead. He's going to come on down to pit road. I thought something definitely didn't look right at all. Sammy Cars, I do believe, is another driver that does have to surrender the lead and come on down. So this would officially hand the race lead over to the number 2 of Will Parrish. Remember, Parrish still trying to look for his first win on the season, and could very well secure that here today. It's looking very possible right now, because the cushion that he has on our new second place driver, Colin Block, is about a 4-second advantage. Looks like there were some skid marks just on the exit of turn number 1, so somebody must have gotten turned up into the dirt bank, so we'll definitely take a look at that. Oh, there was another crash. PB Hange in the 95. Oh, man. That's just so unfortunate. Another driver that has had himself a really good season and has just gone from great to good to bad for the 95. He's fallen outside of the top 10 in the points standings, and it's kind of just been this downhill slope from here for the 95. Tyler Belladonna, another driver who I believe might have had an incident. But those skid marks are definitely pretty fresh. Oh no, Wyatt Walker. This is probably where BB Hange got his damage. So as mentioned, we are going to look at replays of these incidents once this race concludes. That is just... wow, I was not even expecting to see this at all, but Wyatt Walker in the 99, heavy damage to his race machine. He is going to be out of it here at Sonoma on lap number 19. So at this current moment, you can see right here, Will Parrish continuing his almost 4.5 second dominance over the 98 of Colin Block. Nice Seidel still sitting in the 3rd position. Another 4 seconds back from 2nd place Block. Another 4 seconds back is this Hornet's Nest with the 30 of Eamon Murray running in 4th. Then 5th is the number 9 of Zachary Fitzwater. Then 6th is the 11 of Colin Block, 7th Jeremiah Simpson, 8th Dale Johnson. Falling all the way back from the race lead to 9th is the 42 of Nathan Stapleton. and Edson Hernandez rounds out your top 10. But if I'm being honest with you, I think even with a win, actually, it could be possible, even with a win and gaining those 10 bonus points for winning the race, it could be possible for Will Parrish to take the points lead. It's possible, but I'm not 100% sure if that actually would happen if everything goes according to how Will Parrish would want it. Parrish still trying to look for his first McDonald's Cup Series win of his career and of the season. Right now doing a very nice job. Just working his way around the turns and the curves and the hills of Sonoma. Almost nearing the halfway point, 5 laps away until we reach halfway. Have a little bit of a phlegm buildup. Do apologize there. Colin Block gonna successfully get by the 34 of Josh Lee, who is a lap down in the number 34. I did not realize that I was muted. I'm sorry. I thought I unmuted myself. But sorry. Nonetheless, how are we doing, Karu? Hopefully your weekend's been going really well. I had a phlegm build up and I completely forgot that I was muted. But I'm muted, but I forgot. I thought that I was unmuted. But apparently my mic decided to, you know, say no. You're gonna stay muted. But now we have a fourth retiree. Michael DeFeo is now gone behind the wall, as pit stops are well underway. Will Parrish is gonna bring it on down to pit road. I believe Parrish might have brought it on down to pit road. Either that or he's probably still on the track. Yes, he is. It was second place Colin Block that made the move to come to the pits, so should be very interesting. Things are going pretty well, Karu. Things are going really, really well. And like I said, as I was saying while I was muted, for whatever reason, hopefully everybody's weekend has been going pretty well. So far, the action here at the Sonoma Raceway has been very calm and cool and collected. Other than if you were just now tuning in to try to transition over, we had a couple of incidents that ended up taking out one of our championship contenders right out of the gate, Alex Salvatali in the number 26, who came into this race 6th in the point standings. Going to take a very big hit after today, and he will be, I might not be in the top 10 of the point standings after today, so we're just going to have to wait and see how the points are going to look. Of course, 3 other retirees have been added. Of course, Wyatt Walker went out of the race a little bit ago. Matt Jones just recently, I saw that a little bit ago, and now Michael DeFeo has been added to that list of retirees as Will Parrish brings his number 2 race machine onto pit road. Yeah, I really do not like of how sometimes I'll hit my mute/unmute button on my mic, and sometimes whenever I try to unmute, the mic will actually just not unmute for some reason. So yeah, I thought I was unmuted the whole time, but no. I guess my mic wanted to keep me muted. So Will Parrish, no contest there. He gets off and fires out of pit road pretty easily. Remember, Colin Block was the first car to come on down to pit road, especially when it comes down to the top 5. So right now, I'm thinking Parrish might be able to retain the race lead. Right now, it's Kyler Sustry who's out front. Take a little bit further, look further back. There's Sustry in the number 11 machine. $20 to go this time around. And I'm not sure if Kyler Sustry wound up making a pit stop a little bit ago that wound up putting him in the race lead. But if he hasn't made a pit stop, he's obviously gonna have to come on down pit road next time by. But we're just gonna have to wait and see this time around. Hello, Jessica. How we doing? I hope your weekend's been going really well. Just almost 6 seconds back from Kyler Sustry is the number 16 of John Felber. And then Mitchell O'Brien running in third, just 3 seconds back from Felber. And then it's a big jump all the way back to Roberto Crown Jr. A little bit of dust got kicked up there. Bob Floyd, a little bit of damage to his race machine. And Sustry is indeed going to surrender the race lead. Come on down to pit road. Mitchell O'Brien, another driver that will be surrendering the top spot. Will be surrendering third. John Felber wound up staying out. So Felber is going to take over the top position. I wonder if either Felber had... I wonder if Felber... I don't know. I don't know if Felber made his pit stop a little bit earlier. Either that, or he's probably trying to stretch out his strat as far as he can go, or maybe stretch out the fuel as far as he can go. But either way, Felber has himself a pretty big cushion between himself and now I would say new second place runner Ryan Durrani. Durrani in the number 14, he wound up winning the Wendy's Clash earlier this year, all the way back in February at New Smyrna. We will be returning to the New Smyrna Speedway next year for the WLA Pepsi Cup Series. That's definitely going to be a very fun one. Hopefully you guys are excited for WLA to return in 2025. We're going to have some new faces and some new faces. We're going to have some new faces and new places. Some new faces and familiar places and familiar faces and new places. That was definitely a whole tongue twister and a half there. That definitely was just, wow, I can't even believe it. But Felber's going to stay out. So I do believe that there were some drivers that might have made their pit stops a little bit earlier. Either that or, again, as I mentioned, possibly Felber could be stretching it out, trying to stay out for as long as he possibly can here, and then try to make his way down to pit road. If he's doing that, that actually may not be that bad of a strat, because if he were to pit now, he might be good to go the rest of the way. Could be a couple laps short, but we're just gonna have to find out. So as of this particular moment, here's how your top 10 looks. Of course, we have John Felber, the race leader currently. They're running in second. Is the number 14, it's not John Felber, excuse me, Ryan Durrani. 15 seconds behind the number 16 of Felber. Then third is Will Parrish. Fourth, Colin Block. Zachary Fitzwater completes the top 5. Then running in the 6th position is the number 13. That's PJ Vidal. Then 7th is Nia Steidel. 8th is Dale Johnson the 2nd. 9th will be the number 20 of Jeremiah Simpson. Bryce Egan rounding out the top 10. So Durrani, actually, wait a minute. Durrani, I think, is in the pits. So now now Parrish moves back up into second. This actually, I think, is that was interesting. I don't know if that was an intentional strat or not. But if I just tuned into that late, I mean, there is a chance that Ryan Durrani just took 4 tires, but from what we just saw there, what we just caught a glimpse of, Ryan Durrani looked like he just took left side tires only. So that's going to be really interesting. And now there it is. John Felber finally surrenders the lead. So that means with this next pit stop coming up, which could be the final pit stop right around lap 45, if things go accordingly, that means John Felber is definitely going to be in the catbird seat to steal away a win. Here today at the Sonoma Raceway, we're down to 16 laps of racing to go. Will Parrish takes back the lead. Colin Block this time is not too far behind this number 2 machine. Fitzy moves up to 3rd, then Steidel moves up back inside of the top 5 in 4th. Then running in 5th is the number 27. There's Dale Johnson the 2nd, Jeremiah Simpson in 6th, Bryce Egan running in 7th, Vidal 8th, Edson Hernandez 9th, and also Matthew Hubert rounding out the top 10. So the only thing that could possibly happen that would elude John Felber from walking away with a race win is a possible hiccup in the pit strategy. Let's say, for example, if he runs out of fuel on the final lap, that could very well open up the door for Will Parrish to drive away with his first McDonald's Cup Series win. So there's a lot of scenarios that could potentially play out here towards the end of the race. That's definitely going to be very, very interesting to watch here as we get down to the final stages of the Toyota Save-Mart 350 here at the Sonoma Raceway, our 18th race of the season. And next week, we'll be heading over to the Watkins Glen International for the Cheez-It 355 at the Glen. That's definitely going to be a very fun, very exciting day in upstate New York, over at that facility, the road course of Watkins Glen International, on September 28th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. That is next week. That is our second and final road course race of the season. That takes place next week, September 28th at 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Hopefully you guys are able to tune in when that day comes around. It's going to be a very exciting time. We're definitely at a time here in the McDonald's Cup Series where the intensity rate is just only going to get higher from here. Again, after today, there'll be 5 races left in the McDonald's Cup Series schedule. Lots of implications. Speaking of implications, Nathan Stapleton is still sitting in the pit area. Must have some damage on that number 42 machine. Yes, left side damage to his target Chevrolet. He is definitely going to be out of contention. And we have a lot more retirees than what we had earlier. Oh my goodness gracious. What in the world? We now have Daniel Adams, Sebastian Palmer, Josh Lee, Damian Kyle Wood, and Bob Floyd. All of those drivers have wound up joining DeFeo, Jones, Walker, and Savatali. So now we have 33 cars left on the track, and Nathan Stapleton is still sitting in the pit area. That has got to be absolutely gut-wrenching for Nathan Stapleton. Starts out the race on the pole, leads the opening parts of the event, and unfortunately, after one hiccup on a pit stop, that set him back deeper in the top 10. And it's only just gotten worse ever since there for Nathan Stapleton. It's just been a downward slope. And that is severely unfortunate for Nathan Stapleton, who is looking to have himself a fantastic day. And he was getting it in the opening part of this race. Unfortunately, it's just not going to pan out the way that he would have wanted it to. But there's 2 drivers that it could potentially pan out really good for. Either Will Parrish here in this number 2, whom ever since the conclusion of the first round of green flag pit stops has had the race lead, or it could pan out really well for John Felber, whom, as I mentioned, was stretching out his pit window as far out as he could possibly go. He wound up pitting on lap 34, I want to say. So, but depending on what happens, he could wound up pitting with 1 lap to go, or he could try to stretch it all the way to the checkered flag. So that's definitely going to be very interesting to watch here as we round down to the final stages. And as you just caught a glimpse of there, top right of your screen on the ticker, Nathan Stapleton is now officially out of this race. He now joins PJ Vidal in the garage area along with a big old list of these other drivers. A little bit of strategy starting to kick in here. Dale Johnson, Edson Hernandez, Matthew Hubert. All these drivers are now starting to come on down pit road. Colin Block is also in as well. Nia Steidel too. As we Round on down to the final stages of the Toyota Save-Mart 350 here at the Sonoma Raceway. Coming on down to 11 laps to go here. This time by. And you got to think with all that strategy, you have to wonder if you're in Will Parrish's position, what do? Do you stay out, try to stretch this out as far as you can go, or do you come on down the very next lap? That is a mystery we have yet to figure out here. 11 to go. Parrish continues to lead the charge. Bryce Egan, who is running in the second position, he's going to come on down pit road. Along with the 15 of Skylar Taylor, there's Casey Wells. Points leader John Andrews showing up inside of the top 10 for the first time today. But it's definitely going to be very short-lived with this pit stop. There's Stephen Colon in the 24. Coming on down pit road. Derek Hamill as well in the 47. So now the question is... Oh, a little bit of dirt kicked up over here. I want to say that... I don't even know who could have kicked up that dirt. It might have been Will Parrish. I'm not 100% sure. No, that was actually Tyler Belladonna. Belladonna trying to stay well out of the leader's way. And successfully does it. And lets Will Parrish go. So let's see what happens. So it looks like Parrish might have taken heed to what John Felber has been doing. So he's going to try to stretch this out for as long as he can possibly go. As we are now down into the final 10 laps. 10 to go here in Sonoma. Parrish still trying to do everything he humanly can to try to keep a race win within reach. But you have to wonder, with the pit strategy that we just witnessed, with some drivers coming on down pit road a little bit earlier than scheduled, you have to wonder if this strategy might be even worth it. We might just find that out here very shortly. Because at this point, right now, Parrish, if he were to pit right now, he has a 15-second cushion over the 11 of Kyler Sustride. But you got to keep this in mind as well. Parrish started pretty far up front in the field. So if he comes down and pits, he's going to be going down pit road for a very long time at 35 miles an hour. So that's definitely going to be very interesting to watch here as we get on down under 5 laps to go and then some. Actually, Kyler Sustry is coming on down pit road, so this actually helps Will Parrish just a little bit. Mitchell O'Brien also coming on down as well. There's Roberto Crown Jr. He's in, along with Alex Rampus in the 32, Michael Young in the 18. See if anybody else is coming down. There's Tatiana Noguera, our Texas winner in the number 21. Gronkowski comes in. And Zachary Fitzwater, actually, he's going to stay out. He probably was one of those drivers that wound up pitting on right around lap 39, lap 40. And with a 25-second point cushion over John Felber, it is Will Parrish in this number 2 machine. But let's see if he is actually able to make it all the way to lap 45. Or maybe he might come in this time by. We'll just have to see what happens here. And yes, indeed, there he goes. Parrish is going to surrender the lead. He's going to come on down pit road, which will definitely give first place to the 16 of John Felber. The lead falls right into his laps, and now all eyes are going to be on John Felber. They're going to watch to see if he's actually going to be able to make it all the way on the tank of gas and the tires that he currently has on that number 16 machine, because remember, he wound up pitting on lap 34. He was the latest. He was one of the very last cars to wound up pitting on the last round of green flag pit stops. Actually, wait, hold on just a minute. Got a couple cars that are in the dirt. That's Mitchell O'Brien in the 3. The motor has gone kaboom on the Cheerios machine. And those Honey Nut Cheerios are going to be extra crispy and a little bit more burnt than usual. Will Parrish has now made his way out of the pits. John Felber is well ahead of everybody else right now. He's got no competition around him that could contest for this race win. Sammy Cars gets well out of the race leader's way. Definitely a wise move there for Sammy Cars. Lots of dust kicked up there. That was from the 3 and also the 47. Also, Hamill's making his way down into the pit road area. So now the top position is going to be handed over to the 16 of John Felber. Mitchell O'Brien is going to go out of this race. Piston problem on the number 3 machine. BB Hange, another driver who has been sitting on pit road for a while now. The last couple times we managed to pass by turn 11, he's been still sitting in the pits. So we possibly might have another retiree as well. So that is definitely super unfortunate for BB Hange, who has had himself a really good start off to the season. He's been consistently in the top 10 in the points standings. Held the points lead for a little while, actually, to start off the year. But unfortunately, it's kind of just been a downhill slope ever since then. How about Nia Seidel? And this number 41 started outside pole, been hanging around top 5, top 10 all day long. Just a small, slight little buckle on the hood. You can see there the hood's been kind of puffed up just a little bit, but still running in the 10th position, doing a very nice job of holding on, trying to get some good, valuable points that can go towards her run to try to move up in the points standings. A really good day for Nia Seidel. Points leader John Andrews. The chances of him leaving with the points lead have actually gotten just a little bit better. Remember, he started all the way back in 41st position, and thanks to some pit strategy, he slowly progressed his way through the field because of that. And now here he is all the way up in the 13th position. Right now, very, very, very well done for the 17 of John Andrews. Who again could very well escape just barely with the points advantage over Edson Hernandez, who currently sits in the 8th position right now. A little bit of contact between Colin Block and Ryan Durrani. Durrani being told by Colin Block, hey, I'm a little bit faster than you, buddy. You best move out of the way. You're a lap down. I'm not. He's also got Zachary Fitzwater breathing down his neck in the number 9 machine. Don't take that, dirty. See what happens here going into turn number 11. So far, not gonna quite. Actually, no. Remember, actually, Durrani's in the 2nd position. I stand corrected. I thought he was a lap down, but I was wrong. So this is a 3-horse fight for 2nd. As John Felber is basically going on an early, I guess you could say, early Sunday cruise. Even though it's not Sunday by the time that this is being streamed, this is on a Saturday. But the full race replay is premiering right now on YouTube. So if you are watching the replay on YouTube, keep an eye on the NRLOA Discord once this premiere concludes to see what the point standings look like after Sonoma. So if you are in the NRLOA Discord, be sure to keep an eye on those point standings. So coming around this time by, there'll be 4 laps of racing to go here at the Sonoma Raceway. John Felber, who managed to stay out for as long as he possibly could late in the going. Managed to pit a little bit later than everybody else. Looks like that strategy just very well may pay off here. 4 laps to go. He has a 15.5 second cushion over the other 3 drivers of Durrani. Actually, wait just a minute. Colin Block just managed to get by. So now he moves up into second. This has also pulled Dale Johnson the second into the mix. Will Parrish as well. Zachary Fitzwater now going to try everything he can to get by Ryan Durrani. But yeah, as you can see there, Colin Block just checked out. Absolutely just checked out from everybody else behind him, who are now currently contesting Durrani for third right now. But if John Felber is able to stay out front, he's got a 14.5 second cushion over Colin Block, then this race win is very well his. Three more laps. He's got to hold on for at least 3 more laps. And this race win is very well going to be his. Dale Johnson is going to get by Ryan Durrani for third. Is meanwhile behind them Will Parrish, Zachary Fitzwater fighting for what would be the 4th position. And there it is. Parrish successfully gets 2 birds with 1 stone. He gets by Fitzwater and Ryan Durrani all within the span of just 2 corners. So now Fitzy trying to do everything in his ability to get by the number 14 of Ryan Durrani. So at this particular moment, Durrani is obviously not up to speed to retain that, to try to keep that top 5 finishing position. So he might drop a little bit more as this race goes all the way to its conclusion. Coming down to 2 to go for John Felber. Just a little under a 12.5 second gap between himself and Colin Block, which that is now shrunk to 10 seconds. So Colin Block is definitely a man on a mission right now. I don't know what got put into that number 98, but that 98 is starting to move really quickly. And so now at this particular portion of the race, all eyes are on John Felber, watching to see if he is actually able to move to get this race win, if he's able to make the fuel hold up and make those tires last. Is he able to get back around, to take the white flag, complete that final lap, and win this race? So far, he is pretty much uncontested in any sort of area that you could possibly think of as of right now. He's going to stay out here. So now all eyes are on Felber to see if he can actually make it around, make the fuel hold up, make the tires last, but more importantly, make that fuel hold up more than anything. White flag in the air. 1 more lap to go for John Felber. Felber has had himself a pretty consistent year. It's been a very quiet year, I should say, for the 16 of Felber. As he works his way up through the elevation, up the hill, then right back down for the final time. Felber came into this race 17th in the point standings. Leaving here today, he could very much wound up finding himself in a much better spot. A similar situation to what Bryce Egan had back at Chicagoland, where he was 32nd and made the jump up to 20th. Egan may very well have an even bigger jump leaving today. But for John Felber in this number 16, something very similar could happen to him. He works his way off of turn number 10, hard braking into turn number 11, and he has done it. He's made the fuel hold up, he's made the tires last, and here he comes off the final corner, down the front straightaway. It is going to be John Felber who makes the strategy hold up and win the Toyota Save-Mart 350 here in Sonoma. And in the end of it all, he wins it by 7.5 seconds over Colin Block. That was actually a really good, smooth race. Other than the incidents that we might have seen the aftermath of, ergo all the skid marks that we see, especially right around here in turn 1. But a very, very, very good race here at the Sonoma Raceway that sees John Felber take the checkered flag for his first McDonald's Cup Series win. Of course, Colin Block finishing in the second position. Then third will be the 27 of Dale Johnson II. Will Parrish didn't get the win today, but still gets a really good points result of finishing fourth. Zachary Fitzwater rounds out the top 5. Bryce Egan finishing in 6th, then 7th. Edson Hernandez. Ryan Durrani 8th, then 9th. Will be the 20 of Jeremiah Simpson. And Naya Saito, who started outside pole in this race, rounds out the top 10. Take a look at the rest of your results from 11th all the way down to 23rd. They all finish on the lead lap. From 24th all the way down to 29th, 1 lap down. And then from 30th all the way down to 42nd. They all smelled what the Rock was cooking, and there's a lot of contenders that are down towards the bottom of the running order that are pretty high up in the point standing. Some of them top 10, one of which being the 26 of Alex Sanvatali. Got taken out in a crash on lap number 1. Definitely, and well, not just lap 1. It's just gotten worse from then on. Unfortunately, he has just not had himself a good day whatsoever, and it ended early here for the 26 of Alex Sanvatali. Let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Sanvatali. Actually, I do need to. Well, actually, no, I can actually. I'll be all right. But let's go back and take a look and see what happened to Sanvatali. Go back to lap 1. That ultimately took him out of contention. Well, that ultimately took him out of contention for the win, but we'll also take a look and see the wreck that took him out of the race. We'll take a look at that here in just a moment. So we're going to look at this from the aerial view. So this is on lap number 1, the start of the race. And you're going to see right here. This is on the right-hander. So Crampton, I think you're going to see right here, Crampton, I'm not saying he's going to get wide, but actually right here, Sanvatali gets really wide. Catches the car, saves it, comes back up onto the pavement, and then tags the 22 of Crampton, and both of these drivers wound up going around Crampton into the barrier. There's no safer barrier there, but that is a cemented wall. And Sanvatali ended up getting some pretty, I wouldn't say moderate damage, but it was bad enough to where he did have to come on down pit road to get that assessed. That way he can get back out there just to make sure that there's no sheet metal that is rubbing up against the tire. You don't want to risk destroying any sort of fenders or the quarter panels if any sort of that metal catches the tire and cuts it. Because if you go a little bit too fast, those tires can shred and absolutely destroy the sheet metal on your car, particularly obviously the fenders or the quarter panels. Definitely not something that you want whatsoever. But we are also going to fast forward just a little bit because the second incident that took him out of the race, this happened as soon as he came out of the pits. So just fast forward a little bit. So see here, he takes 4 tires. He comes out right here. We're going to actually slow this down a little. Actually, we're going to play this normal speed and then slow it down right about here. So he comes out pretty normally. And then he merges right back up on the track. Not in front of Nia Steidel, but in front of the 20 of Jeremiah Simpson, I want to say, right about here. Actually, no, that's actually not what happened. So the question is, where did the wreck actually happen? Was it just on the exit? This had to have been just on the exit of turn 1, probably about a lap after. No, actually, this was turn 3, so this was just coming down the hill. So this was off the bumper of Jeremiah Simpson. So we were just getting to that point. So yeah, right here, off the bumper of Simpson. Savatali saves it for the moment, tries to get back up on the pavement, bounces off of Simpson again, loses control. This time he's not able to recover, slides all the way off the track and into the tire barrier, passenger side first. This is what takes him out of contention for the race win and completely out of the race. So it's because of this right here that Alex Savatali more than likely is either going to fall deeper in the top 10 in the point standings or fall completely out. So that is definitely super unfortunate for the number 26 of Alex Savatali. So now I want to see what happened to the 99 of Wyatt Walker. Try to see what happened to him there. Excuse me. There's something that popped up in the Discord. Do apologize for that. I actually try to see if we can try to catch the... There it is. Here we go. So this... Oh. So actually, there's a couple incidents that wound up happening on lap 17. First of which was the 55 of Daniel Adams. So this was just as he was exiting the pits. He's going to get hit by the 95 of BB Haynes right about here. He merges right in front of him, actually. This is where Haynes actually gets his damage. And Adams just goes spinning around all the way up into the grass. And then we're going to follow along here with the 99 of Wyatt Walker because definitely something happened to him. I wonder if this was a similar scenario to what we saw with Savatali. And right behind him is the number 40 of Michael DeFeo. They're coming through the S's. Seems pretty normal. I think it's right about... I want to say here. Has to be here. Nope. So far, not yet. We're actually going to speed this up a little bit. Going pretty normal paced. So he winds up... So DeFeo gets by pretty cleanly right here. This is where I'm trying to figure out, see what happened to the 99 of Walker. They're pretty tight right here. Pretty condensed. Oh, there it is. There it is. That's what happened to him. That's actually a pretty unique sort of wreck that just transpired. So watch this. Walker, like the three other cars behind him, DK Wood, Sebastian Palmer, Josh Lee, they're all pretty tightly condensed. But you're going to see right here, Walker, I think, had to get out of the gas just a little bit to try to save his car. Palmer gets into the back of him, and they just get sent into that left side barrier. And they go spinning before turn 11. This is where Wyatt actually got a significant amount of damage. This is what takes him out. This is also, I believe, where Josh Lee winds up going a lap down. And this is also where Palmer gets his rear end damage on top of that. Wow, that is actually very, very unfortunate for all of those drivers involved in that sort of incident. But now I actually want to know what happened to the number 40 machine of Michael DeFeo. Because DeFeo was another driver that wound up going behind the wall in the later stages, right around lap 27. So survey says... Oh, that's what happened. That's what happened. So now looking at this incident that took out DeFeo and also Matt Jones, this is coming on down pit road. Watch this. Actually, no, this is not coming down pit road. Jones just gets into DeFeo. There's not too much you can say right here, but this is very interesting. So Bob, our pit crew guy that just stands right there, he got a pretty good view of that. And he probably is thinking to himself, just another day of the office, man. This is just another day of the office. So now, let's now, I actually want to see here. Now I want to know what happened. There's a couple more drivers. There's a couple more incidents that I want to look at. I want to see what happened to the number 42 of Nathan Stapleton that ultimately completely took him out of this race. Something had to have happened. Something, he must have had some form of mechanical failure. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we're about to find that out. Oh, that's what happened. So just Stapleton running right behind PJ Vidal at the moment. He was running in the 12th position. And then just... Okay. Okay, hold on a minute. Let's just take a look at that again. This is also what knocked PJ Vidal out as well. So Stapleton gets into the back of PJ Vidal right about here as they're going up the hill and just catches the left rear of the 13. And this sends the both of them off the course, and Vidal and Stapleton both go into the tire barrier. And this is what knocks the both of them out of this race. That's just unfortunate. That is just absolutely unfortunate. Now, one final incident that I want to look at, and this time it is with the 3 of Mitchell O'Brien. See how he wound up going out due to a piston problem. Probably had to do with, well, there's a couple of things that wound up happening right here. There's actually a couple things. So first of all, let's go ahead and take a look at what happened to Kyler Sustry. So Sustry wound up coming out of the pits. This is all while Sustry is exiting the pits.
Take a wild guess as to who gets into the 11 right here. Well, go ahead. I want you to take a wild guess. If you were thinking who exactly you were thinking of, well, then you're incorrect. It was actually the 95 of BB Hange. This for the second time, he wounds up hitting somebody. And this time, this wounds up costing him. Look at this. Goes way off the course. And right, he went right, way deeper than what I thought he was going to. Like, look at this. Gets into the back of the 11 of Sustry, sends him around. And then this 95 goes out of control. And goes, wow. He goes into the infield. Right where all the camera crews and the trucks and the tent is. Everybody got a pretty good got a pretty good view of this number 95 up close and in person. And then right here, I'm not sure what just happened, but I think it was Casey Wells wound up getting into the 3. I think just as Mitchell O'Brien was coming out of the pits as well. Look at this right here. You have to remember, there's no apron on the pit exit, so the drivers are basically just merging back onto the track before they're told they can merge back onto the track. So, and even turn 1, exactly where Casey Wells is, that merging point, that is a part of the racing line. You see in the background as well, Derek Hamill, that's it again. That is exactly what I was talking about. Where Derek Hamill was running and where Michael Young was just trying to get out of the pits and back onto the track, that's a part of the racing line. And unfortunately, when those two get together, it can just cause a lot of mayhem. So Hamill, a little bit more fortunate than what BB Hange was, able to get the car refired and pointed back the right direction. And that is exactly what happened to Mitchell O'Brien that what's ultimately knocked him out of the race. That little hit right there that Casey Wells delivered. But nonetheless, that was a very, very wild, chaotic, exciting, but also very, very, very intense racing here at the Sonoma Raceway. And that's definitely going to conclude it from here. Conclude our action from here in Sonoma, California. It has definitely been a wild one at that. And we want to thank you guys so much for watching our action here at the Sonoma Raceway. If you are watching the premiere on YouTube, be sure to keep an eye on the Discord, on the NRLOA Discord. When this premiere concludes, your point standings will be coming up very, very shortly. We want to thank you guys a lot for watching this race here at the Sonoma Raceway. After today, there will be 5 races left in the NRLOA McDonald's Cup Series season. Next Saturday, we will be going to the Watkins Glen International for our second and final road course race of the year for the Cheez-It 355 at the Glen. And I can definitely tell you, if this race was definitely exciting, wait till we go to Watkins Glen next week. That's definitely going to be a little bit more of a curveball, if that, when it comes to points. So definitely going to be a worth watch right there. Definitely going to be a must watch right there. But we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. Thank you guys a lot for watching, and just take care, everybody. Have yourself a good rest of your day. And have a great weekend, guys. I will see you right back here next Saturday for McDonald's Cup Series action at Watkins Glen. Have a good one, y'all.